Good morning, everyone. I'm Curie, a nephrologist from Korea. Today, I will talk about how we organize our program for disease organ transplant and share what we've learned from Korea. I'd like to express my gratitude to Professor Marvin, Professor Nimade, and all the members of INATS for the opportunity to speak at the 7th annual meeting of the Indonesian Transplantation Society. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Professors Entang and Junihara for their enduring friendship since 2009. I have nothing to disclose, but as the Secretary General of the Asian Society of Transplantation, I'm working with these listed organizations in transplantation. I will describe the story of Korea in 7 sections as shown here. The organ transplant program in Korea began in 1969 with a living donor kidney transplant, followed by a deceased donor kidney transplant in 1979. Organ transplantation numbers in Korea rose steadily with over 4,000 procedures carried out in 2020. Of these, 33% involved deceased donors. Most of the transplant patients have enjoyed not only healthy, good quality of life, but also economic benefits of organ transplantation, since the average cost of kidney transplant per each patient at third post-transplant year is just 1/3 of that of dialysis patient. Nonetheless, waiting list and waiting time have kept going up. Last year, an average 6.8 patients died every day while waiting for a transplant. This number is expected to increase 8.0 patients per day by this year. This means an annual loss of life equivalent to filling the opera theater of Seoul Art Center. This situation has driven devastated patients to seek illegal ways to obtain organ transplants. In the past, people who needed illicit organ transplant usually depended on personal interactions between donors and recipients. Nowadays, patients use online black market to find transplant possibilities in foreign nations. Acknowledging the crucial needs to fight organ trafficking, the Transplantation Society and the WHO jointly declared the Declaration of Istanbul in 2008. This statement calls on all governments to take action to protect from organ selling, stop organ trading, and to pursue national self-sufficiency. To achieve national self-sufficiency, the Madrid Resolution was declared in 2010 during the third global consultation on organ transplantation. The Madrid Resolution highlights 3 key roles that government should focus on when striving for self-sufficiency. These include increasing the availability of organs, ensuring fairness, justice, and transparency, and preventing the need for transplantation. In order to achieve these objectives, a crucial national framework has been introduced as demonstrated here. Within this framework, we have introduced 2 additional components for development of a Korean version: agencies responsible for public awareness and agencies responsible for coordination and policy. The legislative framework forms the basis of the Madrid Resolution. 2 key milestones in the development of a program for disease organ transplantation includes establishing legislative and regulatory framework and creating a national agency. However, in Korea, deceased organ transplants were already being performed without any legal foundation or national regulatory body from 1991 to 1999. This indicates that it took 30 years from when living kidney transplants began for laws on deceased donor organ transplant to be established. The key factors taken into account for organ transplantation law includes, first, following the WHO's 11 article guidelines, and second, the extent of inclusion of all medical products of human origin. The existing Korean law on organ transplant is separate from the legislation that governs tissue or other medical product of human origin. The third aspect for legislation is in determination of death, including criteria for brain death. In accordance with Uniform Determination Death Act, UDDA of 1980, Korea approved the total brain death as a criterion of declaring death, and they accepted the operational definition of human death, which comprised three components of loss of consciousness capacity, loss of all brainstem functions, and the permanence of these conditions. The fourth issue is the basis of consent, and Korea has chosen opt-in for final decision in disease organ donation because Korea has been a family-oriented society. In 1999, the organ transplantation law was enacted, consisting of three primary components. It affirms the brain death, prevents organ trafficking, and set up a national transplantation organization. Based on this law, we have set up a national authority, a Korean Network for Organ Sharing, KONOS, in 2000. The national agency has three regulatory functions, which include oversight of standards, practice, and performance, provision of criteria and guidelines, certification or authorization of transplantation-related process and organizations. The KONOS, as the national agency in Korea, is tasked with four crucial responsibilities. The first, managing the waiting list. Second, allocating deceased donor organs. And third, coordinating and implementing policies. And fourth, playing a vital role in the regulation and evaluation of all organ transplantation activities. We believe that the establishment of KONOS would significantly boost the number of deceased transplants. However, to our disappointment, the stringent regulation imposed by KONOS led to a drop in the number of deceased organ donors. This situation resulted in a rise in overseas organ transplants, particularly in unethical practices centered in China. Confronted with this intricate situation, we conducted a meticulous review of WHO requirements and recognized the necessity for a capable OPO, organ procurement organization, supported by the evidence gleaned from transplantation database. Consequently, we made amendment to Organ Transplantation Act to incorporate a provision on the establishment of OPOs, mandatory reporting of potential deceased donors, and establishment of a national transplant registry. This happy photo was taken at the National Assembly on the day this revised law was passed. Of course, the most pressing task was the creation of Organ Procurement Organization, OPO. At this point, major hospitals had introduced OPOs within their respective departments or centers, known as hospital-based OPOs. However, Hooper encountered several challenges, such as limited interest in organ procurement from non-Hooper hospitals, reduced utilization of donated organs in some hospitals, and disparities in organ donation in policies among various Hoopers, etc. In contrast, independent organ procurement organization IOPO could initiate organ procurement in non-Hooper hospitals, enhance the utilization of donated organs, facilitate the adoption of standardized process, and collaborate with tissue and eye donation through nationwide network surpassing Hoopers. After extensive discussion within the society, we decided to establish a national independent organ procurement organization, IOPO. In 2009, we successfully established the IOPO, which was named Korean Organ and Tissue Donation Agency, KODA. I understand that you will be informed about KODA tomorrow by the director of KODA, Professor In Sung Moon. KODA has the following functions. First, to maximize disease organ donation by cultivating and maintaining qualified organ procurement professionals and providing comprehensive training for OPO professionals. And secondly, to provide national guidelines for the organ donation and procurement process. Our legislative effort, establishment of a national transplantation organization, an independent OPO, and implement of mandatory reporting have resulted in a significant increase in deceased donors and a reduction in overseas transplant. Nonetheless, South Korea's rate of disease organ transplantation falls within the lower to middle range of global rates, and only 4% of adults have registered for donor card. Family consent is required for the final authorization to procure organs from a deceased person, and this decision can only be made if everyone in the family has a positive attitude based on accurate knowledge and awareness of the value of deceased organ donation. Unfortunately, according to the KODA annual report, the family consent rate was only 33% in Korea. Therefore, the country's self-sufficiency effort at present are mainly aiming at raising public awareness of disease organ donation. To promote public awareness of disease organ donation, the Korean Society of Transplantation established an NGO VitalLink in 2009. Furthermore, VitalLink formed CodoNet, a coalition consisting of other NGOs working in public awareness. While there are several programs aimed at promoting disease organ donation, including certificate program and campaigns, media, and SNS, we believe that the most effective means of improving attitude towards disease organ donation is through structured education rather than promotional events. To enhance awareness, we have developed 5-step roadmap, which includes determining the primary targets, creating educational materials, establishing a team to implement the plan for accessing the progress, and then strategizing for future effort. Training goals prioritize the following groups. First, healthcare professionals. Second, family members of donors. Third, students. And fourth, community leaders. For these priorities, CODA is responsible for Group 1 and 2, while VitalLink is responsible for Group 3 and 4. The high school and middle school education program has shown promising success. We also have established a collaborative program for pre-medical and medical education. Our program is working very well, and we are expanding it to help more students to understand the value of organ donation. Given the significant issue of low public awareness in Asia, I will delve into this topic in more detail when the opportunity arises. The primary objective of the National Transplantation Registry are to provide information on status and trends in transplantation. Accordingly, it seeks to facilitate research in this field. Waiting lists and organ allocation are carefully managed by CONUS in Korea to ensure traceability, equitable access, and compliance with allocation rules. In 2014, the Korean Society of Transplant established the Curie research team, which was subsequently elevated to Curie Foundation in 2018. The primary goal of the Curie Foundation is to gather data on organ transplant in Korea for academic purposes, not solely as an administrative database. The collected information serves various purposes, including annual reporting, establishing networking, supporting research, and contributing to the broader society. Curie has gathered information in 4 stages, and we store blood samples from both donor and recipient in a biobank for future research. Curie hosts the platform for Asian Transplantation Registry ASTRAC. ASTRAC encompasses 3 distinctive types of database: ASTRAC-N for national data, ASTRAC-H for hospital-specific data, and the platform for linking with existing national registries. Additionally, it provides on-demand platform for various purposes, such as providing waiting list platform. It is a highly helpful website for many Asian countries for running their own registry and for developing research. Finally, I propose the establishment of a formal system as an essential part of coordination and policy development in the field of organ transplantation. This entails devising techniques that optimize organ donation from deceased donors, upholding ethical standards, creating new and updated policies and guidelines, and fostering collaboration both domestically and internationally. In summary, establishing the necessary structure and organization to achieve self-sufficiency in organ donation and transplantation is of paramount importance. As part of this effort, Korea has adopted 4 operational requirements and 3 regulatory requirements in alignment with the recommendation of WHO. These healthcare infrastructures consist of hospitals and the Korean Society of Transplantation, and the organ procurement organization named CODA, Public Awareness and Education Agency we call VitalLink and CodoNet Coalition, and Waiting List and Allocation Authority and the Regulatory Authority we name CONUS, and also Coordination and Policy Agency. The CONUS is taking care of this job. We also established a database Curie for future research and the understanding of current situation. As part of this initiative for Asia, the Asian VitalLink workshop took place in Seoul in 2011, and Professor Juni Hara from Indonesia was among the participants in this event. In 2014, VitalLink organized the second VitalLink workshop titled How to Achieve Self-Sufficiency in Organ Transplantation in Asia. This event gathered 30 representatives from 12 different Asian countries and received strong support from TTS and the WHO. During the workshop, the participants collaboratively established 6 goals aimed at achieving self-sufficiency in organ transplants. Through process of prioritization and ranking based on their significance, national policy was identified as the most crucial goal. This decision was based on the understanding that support by the government plays a significant role in a successful disease organ transplantation program. I would like to express my gratitude once more for the chance to make this presentation, and I want to extend my thanks to my colleagues and collaborators for their invaluable contribution to this presentation. Thank you very much.